All right, so we are continuing the quadratic formula, but now we're going to add some imaginary numbers, okay? So it's no big deal. Just remember that the square root of a negative number, the square root of -1 is I. So then the square root of, we'll say, -4 will be 2I, okay? All right, so let's go for it. Let's just do some examples. So this example we're going to do is number 1 for imaginary. So I'm going to give you the equation 11x squared plus 6x plus 11 equals 0. Okay? All right. So let me make sure I copied it down right. Yes. All right. So our A is 11, our B is 6, and our C is 11 also. Okay? So let's plug it into the equation. Opposite B plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4a times c all over 2 times a. We're going to do exactly what we did in the previous video. We're going to simplify our 3 parts. Bring down -6 plus or minus. Figure out what's underneath this radical. So we're going to come over here and we've got 6 squared minus 4, 11 times 11. So 6 squared is 36 minus, let's see, 4 times 11 is 44 times 11 again is 484. 36 minus 484, that is -448. So -448 all over 22. Now, that negative, to pull that negative out, I have to bring, when you pull that negative out, you're pulling out an I. So I'm going to rewrite this as -6 plus or minus I times the square root of 448 over 22. That's the only new part from the previous video. So now we need to break down the 448. We're going to break down the positive 448. Okay? So let's see. 448 is divisible by 8. That's 8 and 56. 8 is 2 times 4, which is 2 times 2. 56 is also divisible by 8. That's 8 and 7. 7's prime. You stop when you get to a prime. And then we're going to break 8 down again. That's 4 and 2, and then 2 and 2. Circle your pairs. Pair of 2s, another pair of 2s. So I've got 3 pairs of 2s. So that means I'm going to have 3 2s. 2 times 2 times 2. 7 is the only guy we did not include, so he stays on the radical. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. So I'm going to rewrite this as a -6 plus or minus 8i square root of 7 over 22. Look at your 3 sections, okay? Are they all divisible by something? All 3 of those are divisible by 2. So my final answer would be -3 plus or minus 4i square root of 7 over 11. Okay? All right, let's do another one. All right, so number 2 for imaginary is going to be 4x squared plus 3x plus 7 equals 0. A is 4, B is 3, C is 7. Okay? All right, so let's do it. Opposite of B plus or minus the square root of B squared minus 4 times A times C all over 2A. Simplify. So I need to come over here and I need to do this on the side. Because if you type all that in your calculator, it's going to give you an error because it's going to give you a negative number. Okay? Well, never mind. You can type that in your calculator. I am just kidding. 3 squared minus 4 times 4 times 7. I get -103. That's why you can't do the radical. The radical gives you an error. 2 times 4 is 8. I need to pull that negative out. When I pull that negative out, that's where the I comes. All right. Now I need to break down 103. Okay. So 103, I think 103 is prime. Yes, 103 is prime. So I can't break it down. If you can't break it down anymore, it actually works out in your favor because that is the answer. Okay? All right. This is a prime number. That is why we can't break it down. Okay? All right. Number 3, the last one we're going to do. Okay? Unless you email me and tell me you need more. All right. So number 3 is going to be x squared plus 12 equals 0. Okay? All right. So let's do it. A is 1. Uh-oh. I don't have a B. So that means if you don't have a B, it is 0. Okay? If you didn't have a C, it would be 0. If you didn't have an A, it would be linear and we won't be doing this. So really the only one you're probably going to get that is 0 is a B. Okay? All right. So now we're going to plug it in to our quadratic formula. If I could get my pen to help me, let me change colors. There we go. All right. So let's plug this in. Opposite of B, plus or minus the square root of B squared minus 4 times A times C all over 2 times A. Well, 0. You don't really need 0 because 0 plus anything is just the anything. So we're just going to say plus or minus the square root, come to the side. Okay? You can type all of this in calculator or Desmos, whatever you want to use. So 0 squared minus 4 times 1 times 12 gives me negative 48. So negative 48 goes underneath here all over 2. Since it's negative, we've got to pull that I out. Okay? Now we need to rationalize positive 48. So I know that 8 times 6 is 48. That's 4 times 2. That's 2 times 2. That's 2 times 3. Circle your pairs. Pair, pair. I got 2 pairs of 2's. So that means I'm going to say 2 times 2. 3 has nobody, so he stays underneath there. So this is 4 square root of 3. So now I'm going to rewrite this as plus or minus 4i square root of 3 over 2. Now, I don't have 3 things to simplify, so we just look at the 2. Both of those are divisible by 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1, so we're just going to leave it alone, and that's your answer. Okay? All right, guys, so that's how you do imaginary. It's the same thing as the other video, except when you have a negative, you just have to put an I on the outside. Okay? So it just added one little step. That's it. All right, guys?